Hello friends, this is lesson 17 of Big Data Hadoop with Python. In today's lecture we are going to cover the following topics. If you remember, in previous lecture we did install and configure Hive. In today's lecture we will be installing and configuring Nearby database, configuring Hive metastore and metastore schema initialization, and then we will be verifying Hive installation by running Hive CLI command line interface. Now let's start with the first topic in C, installing and configuring Nearby database. See friends, after installing Hive, we need an external database server to configure metastore. So for that purpose, we use Apache Nearby database. If you remember, in previous lecture we explained here Hive architecture, and we said it is divided actually into two parts. This part, since Hive will be installed on local machine, or it is called client-side application, so it will be installed on workstation local machine here, and then we have Hadoop cluster. So for storing the metadata, we need a database to store the metadata here, and that database is called metastore. So this metastore is nothing but the data, about data or metadata here, tables names, columns names, and directory, all those things will be stored here. That is why we need a local database to store for all those purposes. I mean storing metadata. So here I am installing Nearby database. You can install MySQL as well, but if you are installing MySQL, then the steps will be somehow different. Now let's start and see how to install this Nearby database. For installing that, the same as we did in Pig, Hive, Hadoop, so we have to first connect to our HD user, and there in the same directory as we created Hadoop there, we did create a folder for Pig, for Hive, and in the same directory I will be creating a new folder called Nearby, right? Because then after that I have to take the copy of those files and put it in that Nearby folder. So for that, first I have to connect to my HD user. So switch user, HD user, and password we have to provide, and then home directory. Here I will clear the screen. So I have to go to this directory, cd, and then we have a user and then local, right? If I put ls here, it is showing me we have already configured install Hadoop, Hive is there, and Pig is also there. So in the same directory I will say sudo make dir, and you create a new directory called Nearby directory. So the password I have to provide, and now the Nearby directory is created here, right? So clear the screen. And one thing else which is important, friend, and that is running the services, I mean Hadoop services, because if you remember, we configured and we created some directories on Hadoop cluster called warehouse directory. So that is why those warehouse directories are used for storing the tables and data there. So that is why the services should be running. Let me start the services first. .sh. Now the services will be running, and then we can follow the next steps. Just by seeing whether the services are running or not, you just type GPS, it is showing you all the services are running. It means it is ready now. Now the next step is what we have to do, installing Nearby database. So for that we have to use wget command, and then you provide the full path from where you want to download this tar.gz file, right? So in my case I have already downloaded this version. It is on my desktop, so I will be extracting and installing this one. So first of all you have to follow this one and download the software, and then the second step you do this one. So I have already downloaded. I just take the copy of this command here. First of all I have to go to desktop, so home directory of bit1, and there we have desktop. So here if I put ls, it is showing me the software which is downloaded here. That's why I just extract the file by using this command db. It is taken or detecting the file. Press enter, it will be extracting. Now if I put ls, a new extracted folder here what we have is created. The files are there. So I have to go to that folder just by saying change directory and db. Now I am here, and these are the files all we have. These files we have to take the copy or move all these files to the directory which we created here thereby. So what we have to do for that, I am using this one, sudo move all the files from the local folder to this folder which we created. Yeah, now the files moved to thereby directory, right? Now you clear the screen and come to the root directory here, right? And step 2 is completed. Now we have to edit this bash file, friends, as we edit this file for pig, hive and Hadoop. So we have to edit the file for thereby also. So I took the copy and pasted here just by pressing this. Okay, here we have already copied, and some of the lines are here for hive home, and we have pig home, and here I will create a comment and say thereby home, and for that we have to take the copy of these lines from here and put it there, right? These 3 lines, Control C, and here you come and paste it, Control V, right? Just save the file and close it. So for activating it, what you have to do, you just source and bash file you give. If there is any problem or error, it will list, otherwise it will be showing nothing like this. So clear the screen, it means we did the step 3 successfully. 4 is also successfully done. So next step is 5th step. What we have to do, we have to create a directory to store the metastore, and this directory will be in the home of thereby, and directory name is data. So I just take the copy and home directory of thereby, that directory will be created. Yeah, it is created. Now by this thereby installation is completed successfully. Now we have to do the next step, which is called configuring Hive metastore, right? For configuring Hive metastore, make sure Hadoop services are running, and that we did. They are running here just by typing GPS. It is showing the services are running. The next step is configuring metastore, means specifying to Hive where the database is stored. So here we have to give all the paths where the database is stored. For that we have to create a file here. This file we have to create jpox.properties, and we have to modify this file also. So let's do this. The first one, edit this file. So for doing that, we have to go to the home directory of Hive, because it is in Hive directory, just by saying this, and there we have to go to config folder, just like this. Now I am in local user local Hive, and there we have this directory, and within this I have this file, friends, Hive default xml.template, but I don't want to modify this one, so I want to take a copy of the same file and store it by this name, and then I will edit this one, right? Just take the copy of that and then you modify the copy of that. Yeah, now the file is created, and now I will modify the file. Let me clear the screen, and here I will paste that. Yeah, this one now we can modify. The file is here. Now we have to take the copy of these lines, and before that, friends, one thing you have to remember, that make sure that the following lines which we are copying from here and pasted there should be between these two tags, configuration opened and configuration closed. Within this we have to put the here we have to put the files, the lines what we are copying from here now. So I take the copy of these lines, Control C, and here see configuration tag is opened here, right? So where it is closed, we have to make sure where it is closed, then in between we can put it. It is closed at the end right here. So before that, here we have to paste the lines. It is between that configuration open and configuration close. Now save the file, close it. Now the next step is creating this file, gpox. So the gpox file I am creating here just by saying sudo gedit gpox.properties in the same directory here. Now paste it. Yeah, it is empty now. We have to take the copy of these lines from here, right, and paste it there. Yeah, and then save the file, close it, right. The next step is third step, metastore schema initialization. So starting from Hive 2.1, the version of Hive is we need to run the schema tool command below as initialization step. We have to do this one, this step we have to follow. I take the copy of this, right, and here I have to go to the bin of home directory of Hive. So for that I am already in Hive directory but in conf folder, so I change the name and here I say you go to bin directory, and here I will paste that and run. It will be taking some time. Yeah, here it is showing us initialization script completed, and here also it is telling us schema tool completed, right. Now in the same directory, what we have to do, we have to verify Hive installation by running Hive CLI command line interface. How can we do that? Just by typing here Hive only. If you are typing Hive, it will be connecting us to Hive shell. Then I will type here Hive. If the configuration is correct, there is no problem, so it will be connected to Hive. Yeah, see friends, we are connected now to Hive shell, and here we can create the tables, load the tables, and we can modify the tables from here, right. Now just by checking whether the configuration is right and there is no problem, so we will be displaying all the tables whether we have any table or not. For that you have to use show tables, and we'll see whether any table is there or no. Since we have now configured and installed, there is no table, but in the next, after creating the tables, if you type this statement, so it will be listing all the tables. So it means the configuration is done, everything is correctly followed. But one thing you have to remember friends, here it is not conf, it is bin, because we went to bin and then from bin we use this Hive, and we are connected to Hive CLI or Hive shell. So these were the steps friends what we followed. I will be uploading this file for you, and you can follow the steps as I followed here. You follow step one by one, and then you can easily configure and install thereby Hive, and then you can connect to the shell as we connected here. So I hope you understood all these things friends. Thanks.